I ruined my career. I lost my chance at a Division One scholarship, and everything that has happened up until this point has led me to you and you watching this video. Now, I don't want you to make the same mistakes, so stay to the end. Hopefully, you'll get something out of it and you can make it farther than I did. Now, I know that a lot of YouTube videos tend to have some sort of like clickbait title of this dramatic thing that has happened and you need to watch this. I'm not being dramatic. I legitimately ruined my career very early on in high school, and I want you to understand this fully because I see so many people making the same mistakes. So, my name's Matt Ross. I have played about 6 years of college baseball, tried to make a run at making it to the league, and eventually blew out my shoulder for the second time, which led me to not be able to throw anymore. Now, I do a lot of stuff on social media, and I'm trying to post more on YouTube to tell more of my story to help you create your own a lot better than mine. So let's get into it. Now, this is a little difficult for me to talk about it, and we're going to go completely raw, no cuts, no edits, just me and you talking. And there's a very big purpose behind that. I've done a lot of stuff on social media to where I try to create this perfect video. I'm going to stop doing that. And if you want to know more about that and why I am going a lot more raw, just check out this video. It's somewhere on the screen. But anyways, I ruined my career. Back in high school, and even middle school for that matter, I was good. I was really good. I was supposed to be great, actually. I was a extremely good hitter. I don't know stats. I didn't really keep track of them back then, but I was a doubles machine, singles and doubles all day long. Wasn't super fast, but I was a corner outfielder, so I didn't focus too much on speed like I should have. We'll get into that in a little bit, but you need to know I was turning out to be a great hitter. The issue is that I didn't have any power. I was my sophomore year, probably 5'11", 6 foot, weighing maybe 160, 170, but skinny. The wild part is I actually thought I was overweight, not because of the number, but because of the way that I looked. And when I started to realize, like, okay, if I want to make it, either get drafted or at least go Division One, I need to hit for more power. Like, I'm not fast enough to be a singles guy, and I'm not strong enough to be a power guy. So I was like this weird in between. And you would think that the immediate reaction to that would be go lift weights, which you're right. That should have been the thing that I did. And see, I grew up in a really small town in Georgia, and growing up, lifting weights was typically for football players. And the common narrative was if you lift weights as a baseball player, you're going to hurt your shoulder. Now, other people did lift, but it was more for like, I want to bench 225, I want to squat 315, I want to deadlift 405, just the ego lifting, if you will. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to be a power lifter. It's just, I think we all know now that that's not the best way to go about it for baseball. So I didn't lift at all. I started to a little bit, but I was so weak that I actually hated it. And I think you can see where this kind of leads up into how I ruined it, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. See, because I was taller early on, and I've always had like really broad shoulders, everyone told me how big I was, how strong I was. Now, nobody in my family played baseball. Like, nobody. So they didn't know anything. They just saw a taller person in middle school and high school that to them, I guess, was big. I wasn't at all. Kind of still messes with me to this day, but we're not going to get into that. The only person that actually kind of laid into me about it was my uncle. He got drafted by the Phillies and then eventually got traded to the Tigers before he blew out his shoulder, and it was weird. Obviously, when you make it to that level, like you got to know something, and he just laid it into me. I mean, he's like, if you were my neighbor, you'd be working out 6 days a week. You would be absolutely jacked. You'd be eating that. You would be doing just all this stuff. And that conversation sparked something inside of me. That was my sophomore year. And we had that conversation. I was like, it was the first time I heard it, but he was right. That's what I needed to do. I think 4 months later, he died from cancer. It was rough. Now, that's him passing away didn't stop me from pushing harder. It just didn't have the same effect anymore. And I went sideways with it. So now you're probably sitting there like, what did you do instead? Everything sounds great up until this point. Like, so how did you ruin it? Number one, I didn't lift at all. And basically my entire social media has become trying to teach you guys how to lift, how to strength train, how to run, basically all the things that I wish that I knew when I was in your shoes. Instead, number two, I decided to change my swing completely. I didn't know any better at the time, but one player that was kind of coming out and changing the style of training was Josh Donaldson. So I went from this very simple load, very simple swing to, I'm not kidding you, a massive bat tip and leg kick into my swing, thinking that, oh, I just need more bat speed, so then I need more movement, which would then help me swing faster. Obviously, it didn't work, but I thought it should have. And then number three, I worked at all the wrong things, and which is obviously the swing, but I would hit and hit and hit, wondering why I'm not getting any better. My mindset went way downhill. And on top of all that, because I thought I was fat, I tried cutting weight constantly to get a six pack. There's a lot to unpack here. So here's what I want you to do. If you're in 8th grade or higher, you need to be lifting, number one. Number two, stick to what works. If you're a really good contact and doubles guy, there's no reason to change it. The only difference is that your bat is not moving fast enough. The number three, we need to talk about mindset. You're better than you think you are. And it's really easy because there's a culture in baseball that says you constantly need to get better, which is a good thought to have, except for when that's all that you think, you're just telling yourself you're not good enough. And that becomes really, really draining all the time. I don't play anymore and I still deal with it. So understand that all the work that you're putting in outside of like just practice the game, it's not only going to pay off, but you need to trust it. I didn't do any of that. So when I tell you that I ruined my career, I did. I didn't lift when I should have lifted, so I stayed really small without any power. I changed a swing that worked really, really well into something that was terrible. And then I constantly told myself how bad I was, even if it was indirectly. But with all three of those combined, how was I ever going to succeed? It's obvious when you hear it. But if you're still watching this video, I need you to look internally and ask yourself, are you doing any of this? Like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And I can guarantee you that there is something that you could do better. So then do it. If you're just constantly telling yourself you should, it's negative. Ah, man, I'm going to save that for another video. I also said that I lost a D1 scholarship. I did. Twice, actually. The second one was due to COVID. That's obviously a different situation. But the first time, it was a school that was like on my top 5 list. Really good school, multiple draft picks. And talked to the coaches, went and took BP with the team, hung out with them, and it was awesome. I liked the school, coach liked me. It seemed like it was going to work out and be a great place for my career. I'm still not 100% sure this is why, but I had the biggest head ever. I do have a big head, but ego-wise. And I think that rolled over into my game because I went back the next weekend. I believe that the coach was there. He told me he was going to come to one of my games, but I never got that confirmed. And I struck out one time, and I got so mad. I was a bad teammate that game. And I believe that he left because he never responded to me after that game. I lost a D1 scholarship because I thought I had made it. And now I get to tell you that story, so hopefully you don't do the same thing. So, I ruined my career. I lost a D1 scholarship. But the wild part about all of this is that I wouldn't change a single thing because I wouldn't be here talking to you. There's so much more that I want to add in this video, but we're 12 minutes in. So if you have any questions about my career, what you should be doing, or any sort of advice that you want in your own career, just leave them in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe because I'm going to keep doing a lot more about this. And it is my mission to teach you guys the things that I wish that I knew when I played. So with all that being said, I appreciate you being here. There's one more thing that I need you to remember. We're never cocky, just convinced. My name's Matt Ross. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.